Why do some leaders get effort beyond obligation while others only get compliance? Why do some teams bring you problems early while others hide them until it's too late? What makes a leader-follower relationship actually work? Before you build inspiration, you must build exchange. Leadership is not influence first. It is relationship quality first. Leader-member exchange theory shows that leaders do not have one relationship with a team. They have a different exchange with each individual. And the quality of that exchange predicts motivation, performance, commitment, and discretionary effort. High-quality exchange is not a soft variable. It predicts early problem reporting, discretionary effort, ethical voice, and decision speed. Low-quality exchange produces the opposite: information delay, defensive compliance, silent resistance, and escalation culture. When exchange quality is weak, performance becomes mechanical. People do what is required and nothing beyond it. That difference is where motivation lives or dies. Under pressure, exchange quality determines whether a team becomes adaptive or fragile. In adaptive teams, information moves quickly. Dissent surfaces early, and correction happens before damage compounds. Whereas in fragile teams, silence spreads, mistakes compound quietly, and correction comes only when exposure is already high. Exchange quality shapes that difference long before any crisis appears. Let's start with trust. Trust means people know how you will behave when things become uncertain. When trust is present, speed increases, initiative increases, and stress decreases. When trust is absent, people escalate small decisions, protect themselves, and manage optics. Behaviors that build mutual trust are: keep your word on commitments, defend your team member under external pressure, admit when you misjudge something, share relevant information early. Ask yourself this to test the strengths of mutual trust. If this person took a bold decision tomorrow, would I assume good intent or incompetence? Picture this: a deadline is tight and a team member sees a risk. In a high trust exchange, they say, I think this will fail if we don't adjust. In a low trust exchange, they say nothing and protect themselves. Trust determines whether risk travels upward early or explodes later. Trust is not emotional warmth. It is decision safer under uncertainty. And once lost, it is rebuilt slowly, not through speeches, but through consistent behavioral proof. Now, respect. Respect is belief in competence and growth potential. High-quality exchanges allow intellectual challenge. Low-quality exchanges punish it. Behaviors that build professional respect are: ask for reasoning, not just conclusions; publicly acknowledge expertise; assign stretch work intentionally; invest in development. Ask yourself this to evaluate whether professional respect is present. Do I treat this person as someone who can grow beyond their current role? You can feel the difference in meetings. In low respect exchanges, people pre-filter their thinking and bring conclusions instead of reasoning. They avoid intellectual disagreement because disagreement feels risky. Over time, competence shrinks to the safe zone. In high respect exchanges, debate sharpens ideas and disagreement improves outcomes. Respect creates intellectual oxygen. Without it, teams suffocate quietly. When respect erodes, motivation does not collapse immediately, but contracts gradually into compliance. Now, support and loyalty. In high leader-member exchange relationships, loyalty is reciprocal and protective. When pressure rises, leaders move toward their team, not away from them. Behaviors that build reciprocal loyalty and support are, for example, protect team members publicly, deliver corrective feedback privately, advocate for their advancement, provide resources proactively. Ask yourself this to assess whether loyalty and support are truly reciprocal. When pressure rises, do I move toward my team or away from them? Pressure reveals exchange quality. During budget cuts, political tension, or executive scrutiny, weak exchanges fracture quickly. In weak exchanges, leaders distance themselves and say, that was their decision. In strong exchanges, leaders say, this sits with me. Reciprocal loyalty creates courage. Without it, self-protection dominates. And once self-protection becomes the norm, initiative fades and accountability becomes selective. Finally, reciprocity. Leader-member exchange is a relational exchange, not just a hierarchy. When leaders invest in development and clarity, employees reciprocate with effort and voice. Behaviors that build contribution and reciprocity are, for example, provide career-relevant exposure, give meaningful feedback, share context, not just tasks, ask what support is needed. Ask yourself this to determine whether reciprocity is functioning. If roles were reversed, would I invest extra effort for a leader like me? Exchange quality builds over time. When development is offered selectively and unpredictably, effort becomes conditional. When investment is consistent, effort becomes voluntary. Reciprocity keeps motivation stable. Without it, effort becomes calculated. And calculated effort is the ceiling of low-quality exchange. When leader-member exchange fractures, transformational language sounds hollow. You can speak about vision, culture, or purpose, but if exchange quality is low, it is perceived as rhetoric. Transformation does not compensate for a weak quality of leader-follower exchange. It amplifies the weakness that is already present. Before we move on, consider the organizational pattern. In high-quality exchange environments, difficult conversations happen early, correction cycles are short, and leaders hear uncomfortable information before it becomes public exposure. In low-quality exchange environments, silence spreads across layers, escalation replaces ownership, and leaders only discover problems when consequences are already irreversible. That is not a communication problem. It is an exchange quality problem. Here's the part most leaders miss. Without trust, respect, support, and reciprocity, transformational leadership collapses into performance theater. Exchange quality is the soil on which transformation grows. At scale, weak exchange creates structural drag. Decision cycles lengthen, escalations multiply, and voice decreases. Risk increases because silence spreads. High leader-member exchange relationships are not about favoritism. They are about quality of exchange across individuals and consistency in how leaders show up. Uneven exchange breeds political climates. Political climates destroy motivation faster than workload can ever do. Exchange shapes identity. If people feel trusted, respected, and supported, they begin to see themselves as contributors. If they feel monitored, dismissed, or politically sidelined, they begin to see themselves as survivors. People then act according to the identity that was reinforced by their exchange. Over time, that identity shapes culture. Culture then shapes decisions under pressure. When exchange quality is high, culture reinforces accountability and voice. When exchange quality is weak, culture reinforces caution and silence. That difference is invisible in calm periods and decisive in complex ones. Think of one person on your team. Rate your exchange quality honestly. Trust, support, respect, reciprocity. Which dimension is weakest? That is where motivation will begin to fail. If this way of thinking is useful, the deeper analysis lives in the newsletter. That's where I examine leadership capacity at structural level. If you want the next breakdown, subscribe to the channel. And if this changes how you see motivation and leadership, share it with someone who leads. Rewire how you lead.